Mary and Nathan were going to have another baby. Their son, Tony, was happy to have a new sister. When they got the baby home, he said, "She's not my sister." They thought he was upset, but then they did a test to check their genes, and it showed something surprising. Mary and Nathan were a couple that many people wished to be like. Their wedding was like a fairy tale, and now they live like the perfect American couple in a neighborhood near Washington, D.C. When Mary was pregnant for the first time, they both agreed that she would stay at home to take care of their children because Nathan made enough money to support them. However, their lives were almost completely perfect. Mary kept her house smelling good with cinnamon and baking and always kept it clean, even when she was pregnant. Tony was their first child, and he brought them a lot of happiness. He was sad and cried during the night, but the people who cared about him loved him very much. He was very smart from an early age, and it surprised them. Nathan thinks we should think about getting our son into a private school and giving him special lessons. He is happy thinking about our son being very smart. He is a very young child, my dear. My dear, we can think about it later, his wife replied, disagreeing with his excitement. Tony got smarter every day. He felt very happy when he found out that Mary was going to have a baby again. He liked to rub his mother's belly and wanted to keep her safe, even though he was only 5 years old. Mary felt happy seeing everything and couldn't think of a better life than this. Mary had a baby coming, and she didn't want Tony to be by himself at home. So she asked her mother, Mrs., to come and stay with him while she and her husband were at the hospital. Watch Callahan. Mary had a hard time giving birth, and the doctors had to do a quick surgery. She was given medicine to make her relaxed, and Nathan passed out during the procedure because he is scared of blood. Later on, they saw their new baby girl named Marissa. They were in a room in the hospital, where they heard the sounds of machines and equipment. They watched happily while the baby fed from Mary. It was a really nice moment, almost as nice as when Tony was born. Wow, what a cute baby! Thanks a lot, Nathan said while giving a kiss to his wife's forehead while the baby was still feeding. I'm excited for Tony to meet her. Mary said that the baby will have a great big brother. She also joked that she hopes he doesn't become too protective. They left the hospital a few days later. When they arrived home, Tony was very happy and bouncing on their front porch with his grandmother. He quickly went to them while Nathan took out the car seat and put it down to see more clearly. Mrs. needs to go to the grocery store to buy food for dinner tonight. Callahan helped her daughter move from the front seat so everyone could see something special. Something surprising occurred afterward. Tony, meet your sister Marissa. Nathan said to greet her, as Mary walked towards the elderly lady. Tony did not smile at the baby like they expected. He frowned instead. He shook his head strongly and said something they never thought he would say. He said, "She is not my sister," and looked at his dad. "What are you saying?" "She is, obviously," Nathan said, telling his child to look at the baby once more. "Her hair is light and her eyes are blue, but the rest of us have dark hair and eyes," complained Tony. "I find it difficult to describe, dear. But sometimes it happens," Mary said softly. Tony said no and quickly went inside. Mary and Nathan were concerned as they looked at the house, and then they saw Mrs. Callahan said something. "Everything is going to be okay." Sometimes new siblings have this happen. Tony might feel envious because she is going to get a lot of attention. Just let him know that everything will be okay and the problem will go away. The old lady's words made them feel better, and they went into the house thinking she might be correct. But things stayed the same. Tony kept saying for many weeks that the baby was not his sister. Mary wanted to get therapy for their child to help with the problem, but Nathan had a different plan. "What if we take a test to see our DNA?" Mary said, "What do you mean?" Tony wouldn't even know what those things are. She was frowning. Tony is clever. We can say that the evidence is very strong and shows that she is his sister. Nathan said if it doesn't work, we will try therapy, and Mary said okay because it made sense. The DNA test results did not make sense. Mary shouted and threw the paper on the floor, saying it couldn't be true that the child was not theirs. Nathan said we need to call the hospital now. He felt the same way as his wife, angry, frightened, and confused. They went through a tough time that caused a big investigation in the hospital. They had to contact all the parents whose babies were born that day. They did this to find the baby they thought was the right one. It was really sad when the families had to give back the baby they had gotten used to. It was the correct thing to do. While going home, Nathan was amazed by something. Tony realized right away that the girl was not his sister. I'm curious about what he will say next. Her hair is like ours, but darker. Mary shook her head and said that the person's eyes are still blue. I do not know what will occur. Tony was very surprised, but when he saw the real baby Marissa, he smiled very happily. She's my sister, he said with joy. They became very good friends while they were growing up.